Some of the most unbelievable gangster stories you've ever seen on screen actually happened. Real gangsters, real crimes, real blood. From Las Vegas to New York and London, the line between reality and fiction has always been thin. Today, we'll uncover 15 gangster movies based on true events, separating fact from fiction, because sometimes real life is far more brutal than the movies. Let's start with Goodfellas, released in 1990. Martin Scorsese's masterpiece is based on the book Wise Guy by Nicholas Pileggi and tells the true story of Henry Hill, a real associate of New York's Lucchese crime family. It includes one of the most famous heists in American history, the Lufthansa heist of 1978, where thieves stole nearly $6 million in cash and jewelry from JFK Airport. For years, it was the biggest cash robbery ever committed in the United States. Hill, Jimmy Burke, and Tommy DeSimone were all real people, though their names were slightly changed. Scorsese dramatized some moments, but this remains one of the most accurate depictions of mob life ever filmed. Next up is Casino from 1995, another Scorsese classic, also written by Nicholas Pileggi. It tells the story of Frank "Lefty" Rosenthal and Tony Spilotro, two men from the Chicago outfit who controlled Las Vegas casinos during the 1970s. Almost everything you see in the movie really happened, from the skimming operations to Spilotro's violent downfall. Rosenthal was a real-life gambling genius, and Spilotro was infamous for his brutality. The names were changed for legal reasons, but the story itself is completely true. Then comes Donnie Brasco from 1997. This film tells the story of FBI agent Joseph Pistone, who spent 6 years undercover inside the Bonanno crime family using the name Donnie Brasco. He risked his life every single day to bring down the mob from within. The friendship between Pistone and mobster Lefty Ruggiero was genuine and deeply tragic. Pistone himself has said the movie is about 85% accurate, making it one of the most authentic undercover stories ever told. Next is Black Mass, released in 2015. Johnny Depp becomes James Whitey Bulger, the Boston crime boss who secretly worked as an FBI informant. Bulger used his connections with federal agents to take out his rivals while running his own violent empire. Court records confirm most of what's shown on screen, including at least 19 murders. Some moments are softened for the movie, but it's frighteningly close to the truth. Another one from Scorsese, The Irishman, released in 2019. Robert De Niro plays Frank Sheeran, the hitman who claimed to have killed Jimmy Hoffa, the legendary labor union leader. The film is based on the book I Heard You Paint Houses by Charles Brandt. The people and events are real, but Sheeran's confession is widely disputed. It's less about the confirmed facts and more about guilt, memory, and the price of loyalty. Now we move to Bugsy from 1991. Warren Beatty plays Benjamin Bugsy Siegel, the charming but dangerous gangster who helped create Las Vegas. Siegel really did build the Flamingo Hotel, the first major casino on the Strip, and his romance with Virginia Hill was real. The film amplifies their love story, but the core of it is true. An elegant look at the criminal dream that built the city of sin. Next comes Public Enemies from 2009. Directed by Michael Mann, it follows John Dillinger, Babyface Nelson, and Pretty Boy Floyd, America's Most Wanted during the Great Depression. Dillinger became a folk hero, seen by some as a modern Robin Hood. The movie is based on real FBI files, with some timelines shortened for pacing. It's one of the most accurate depictions of the gangster era of the 1930s. Then we have The Untouchables from 1987. Kevin Costner plays Elliot Ness, the federal agent who helped bring down Al Capone during Prohibition. The real Untouchables existed, and Capone was indeed jailed for tax evasion. But those dramatic gunfights and slow-motion shootouts are pure Hollywood. In real life, Ness was more of a strategist than an action hero, but the film remains a classic American myth of law versus crime. Next on the list is Gotti. Both the 1996 HBO version and the 2018 remake tell the story of John Gotti, the flashy and feared boss of New York's Gambino crime family. Known as the Dapper Don, Gotti was one of the most publicized gangsters of the 1980s. The HBO version is considered more accurate, while the Travolta version leans on style over fact. Either way, Gotti's rise and fall were all too real. Now let's talk about Legend, released in 2015. Tom Hardy plays both Reggie and Ronnie Kray, the twin brothers who ruled London's East End during the 1960s. They ran clubs, rackets, and mingled with celebrities and politicians. The violence, the glamour, and the paranoia are all based on truth. The film softens some of the darkest parts, but the story is faithful overall. Next is A Bronx Tale from 1993, based on actor Chaz Palminteri's own childhood in the Bronx during the 1960s. It's not about a real mob boss, but about what it was like to grow up surrounded by organized crime. It's a coming-of-age story about temptation, loyalty, and the choice between respect and fear. Semi-autobiographical, but full of real emotion and authenticity. Then comes Once Upon a Time in America from 1984. Sergio Leone's crime epic is inspired by The Hoods, a book written by Harry Gray, a former gangster from New York's Lower East Side. The characters are loosely based on real Jewish mobsters from the Prohibition era. It's not strict history, but rather a reflection on memory, friendship, and regret. A myth built on fragments of truth. Next up, The Cotton Club, also from 1984. The Cotton Club in Harlem was a real nightclub owned by gangster Oni Madden during Prohibition. The main characters in the film are fictional, but the world around them, the music, the racism, the mob influence, is real. It captures a time when organized crime and entertainment went hand in hand. Now we turn to The Highwaymen from 2019. This time the story is told from the other side of the law. Kevin Costner and Woody Harrelson play Texas Rangers Frank Hamer and Maney Gault, the men who tracked down and killed Bonnie and Clyde in 1934. The movie is remarkably accurate and even filmed at the real ambush site. It shows the brutal truth behind the myth of America's most romanticized outlaws. And finally, The Krays from 1990. Before Legend, this gritty British film told the same story with a darker, more realistic tone. Reggie and Ronnie Kray were real twin brothers who rose from amateur boxers to feared crime lords in post-war London. The movie stays close to the facts and eyewitness accounts, offering one of the most authentic portrayals of British organized crime ever made. Real life was every bit as wild as the movies. Which of these true story gangster films is your favorite? And what other real-life mob stories deserve to be on this list? Let me know in the comments and subscribe for more crime stories that actually happen.